When you open the Ola app and see that familiar black and lime logo, it feels like a normal part of city life. But the story of Ola began not in a glass office, but on a dusty highway, with a broken deal and a very angry young engineer. Bhavish Aggarwal was an IIT Bombay graduate working at Microsoft in Bengaluru. Like many young Indians, he had a stable job, good pay, and a clear career path. But he also had an itch to build something of his own. He quit his job and started olatrip.com, a small online company that arranged weekend tours and holiday trips. It was not a big startup with huge funding. It was just a simple travel website trying to survive. One day, Bhavish was on a road trip from Bengaluru to Bandipur with a driver he had hired. In the middle of the journey, the driver suddenly stopped the car, demanded a higher fare than what they had agreed, and threatened to abandon him if he did not pay. Standing on the roadside with his trip ruined, Bhavish felt the same frustration that millions of Indians felt every day with taxis. No reliability, no safety, no fair pricing. That bad ride became his light bulb moment. He realized the real opportunity was not in planning holidays, but in fixing everyday mobility. Its trucks and vans, moving day and night, tell a quiet but important story. In the new India, technology does not live only in apps and screens. It rides on highways, knocks on doors, and turns ordinary parcels into proof that ambition, when combined with discipline, can travel very far. Together, they decided to pivot from olatrip.com and start a cab aggregation service. In January 2011, they launched Ola Cabs, first as a simple call-based service. You could ring a number, and the team at a tiny office would call drivers one by one to arrange your ride. Only later did the famous mobile app arrive, in 2012. In those early days, Ola's biggest strength was not technology alone, but deep local understanding. The founders knew that Indian customers worried about three things. Will the cab come on time? Will it be safe? And how much will it cost? So Ola focused on three promises: reliable pickup, transparent fares, and a driver network big enough to cover busy Indian cities. Funding began to flow in from venture capital firms that believed India was ready for app-based mobility. As smartphones spread, the Ola app let users see nearby cars, book with one tap, and pay by cash or digital wallets. Indian users who once struggled to even find a taxi now saw a map with little car icons moving in real time. By 2018, Ola had raced ahead to become the largest ride-hailing platform in India, rolling out services in more than 100 cities, and soon after in over 250 cities across the country. Over time, Ola completed more than 1 billion rides a year and built a network of more than 1.5 million driver partners and thousands of employees. As the product expanded, another layer of strengths appeared. Ola did not limit itself to one kind of ride. For price-sensitive users, it launched Ola Mini and Micro. For comfort seekers, there were prime sedans and SUVs. For quick, low-cost urban trips, it added autos and bike taxis in many cities. For office-goers concerned about traffic and pollution, it introduced ride-sharing options. This range of offerings gave Ola a powerful advantage. It could serve students, office workers, families, and even luxury travelers under one umbrella brand. In classic SWOT language, its strengths were strong brand recall, a vast driver network, local execution, and product variety. But every fast-growing company also collects weaknesses and hidden risks. In Ola's case, its biggest weakness lay in its business model. Huge subsidies, discounts, and incentives. To fight global rival Uber, Ola showered customers with promo codes while paying drivers high incentives to stay on the platform. Rides were cheap for users, and earnings were temporarily high for drivers. But the company itself was burning cash. Losses piled up even as the number of rides exploded. At the same time, Ola had to deal with something far more serious than money: safety and trust. In the mid-2010s, the entire app cab industry in India faced public anger over safety incidents and regulatory concerns. Governments in different states started asking hard questions about permits, background checks, and surge pricing. Some cities temporarily banned or restricted app-based cabs, forcing Ola to scramble for licenses and stricter safety processes. The company had to invest more in driver verification, emergency buttons, and customer support. Its weakness here was clear. A fast-moving tech company was now operating in a heavily regulated, emotionally sensitive space. People's daily safety and mobility. Another deep weakness was driver dissatisfaction. As incentives shrank and competition grew, many drivers felt that their incomes were going down, while fuel and maintenance costs kept rising. Unions in cities like Mumbai and Jaipur repeatedly organized protests and strikes, demanding higher fares and better terms from Ola and its rivals. For a company whose strength was its driver network, unhappy drivers were a serious threat. This is where Ola's story shows a classic strategic tension. The same scale that gives you strength also makes you vulnerable if any one stakeholder, drivers, regulators, or customers, feel cheated. Then came 2020 and the COVID-19 pandemic. Overnight, cities locked down, roads emptied, and airport trips vanished. For a company built on mobility, this was a nightmare. Ola's revenue crashed by about 95% in just 2 months, and the company had to lay off around 400 employees to survive. This was indeed a big threat to the company. Yet this period also pushed Ola to rethink its cost structure, automate more processes, and look for new business lines that were not fully dependent on people going out every day. Even before the pandemic, Ola had started planting seeds for the future. It acquired Taxi for Sure to consolidate the market. It experimented with food delivery by buying Foodpanda India and tried public transport ticketing through Raidler. Some of these bets did not work as expected and were shut or scaled down, reminding everyone that diversification is not always smooth. One bold move, however, changed Ola's long-term story: electric mobility. In 2017, Ola launched Ola Electric with a vision to move a large part of its fleet and India's two-wheeler market towards electric vehicles. The company set up the massive Ola Future Factory in Tamil Nadu and began producing electric scooters under the Ola S1 brand. In 2024, Ola Electric went public. Within weeks of its IPO, its market value shot past $7 billion as investors rushed to back India's EV dream. On paper, this looked like a huge opportunity. India has one of the world's largest two-wheeler markets. Fuel prices are high, and the government is pushing EV adoption. Ola's strengths, brand, technology, and risk-taking founder seemed perfect for this new play. The opportunity side of the SWOT was clear. If Ola could combine ride-hailing, EVs, charging, and maybe even its own batteries, it could become a full-stack mobility giant. But the EV journey also brought new challenges and threats. Building scooters at scale is not like running an app. It needs factories, supply chains, quality control, after-sales service, and careful dealing with safety and regulators. Ola Electric faced complaints around delays, service quality, and later, pressure on profitability. Recent financial results showed high revenue, but also large losses. And media reports spoke about falling market share and regulatory scrutiny. The lesson here is sharp. Turning a software-heavy startup into a manufacturing powerhouse is a long, risky journey, even for a brand as famous as Ola. Back in the core cab business, Ola also had to learn the hard lesson of focus. For a few years, it ran ride-hailing not only in India but also in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. That expansion gave the company global visibility, but it also stretched management attention and capital. In April 2024, Ola decided to exit all international ride-hailing markets and focus fully on India, where competition from Uber, Rapido, InDrive, ONDC-linked apps and local taxis is still intense, but where Ola understands the consumer best. Financially, there has been slow but important progress. The parent company, ANI Technologies, reported consolidated revenue of around Rs 2,700 crore in FY23, with net losses narrowing to about Rs 700 crore. Still loss-making, but moving in the right direction as discounts reduced and the business became more disciplined. Ola has also been building internal tech muscles by shifting from Microsoft Azure to its own cloud platform, CrewTrim, and from Google Maps to its own Ola Maps, trying to convert previous costs into long-term strengths. In 2024, Ola Cabs rebranded itself as Ola Consumer, signaling that it sees itself not just as a taxi app, but as a broader consumer services and mobility ecosystem. This brand move is both an opportunity and a test. If Ola can add valuable services, financial products, subscriptions, maybe EV-linked offerings, without losing focus on reliability and service quality, it could rebuild its story as a profitable multi-vertical platform. If not, it risks confusing both customers and investors. When we look at Ola's journey as a whole, its SWOT becomes clearer. Ola's strengths are its strong brand in India, wide driver and city coverage, deep local understanding, and a founder who is willing to take bold bets in new areas like EVs and AI. Its weaknesses include dependence on a price-sensitive market, a long history of losses, uneven service quality, and tense relationships with some drivers. Its opportunities lie in India's continuing urbanization, the shift to electric mobility, digital payments, Tier 2 and Tier 3 city growth, and new technologies like in-house maps and AI platforms. Its threats are tough rivals like Uber and Rapido, new low-commission models like ONDC-based mobility apps, strict regulators, driver protests, and the heavy capital needs of manufacturing and EV infrastructure. For entrepreneurs, the top 3 key learnings from Ola's story are rich and very human. First, big companies can grow out of very small, personal pain points. One terrible taxi ride led to a company that has completed more than 1 billion trips and given work to over 1 million drivers. That is the power of deeply feeling a problem and deciding to solve it, rather than just complaining. Second, local insight can beat global playbooks. Ola understood Indian consumers, Indian traffic and Indian price sensitivity, and used that insight to compete against a global giant. It added autos, bikes, cash payments, and regional language support, because it knew that copy-paste from Silicon Valley would not work in India. Third and finally, focus is a strength, not a limitation. Ola's exit from international markets and refocus on India, its home turf, is a reminder that saying no can sometimes be more powerful than saying yes to every new geography and idea. Today, as Ola tries to balance its ride-hailing business, its EV bet, and its new tech ventures, its story is still being written. It is no longer just the tale of a young founder stranded on a highway. It is the larger story of how Indian startups grow up. Fast, messy, ambitious, full of strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And like every good entrepreneurial journey, it reminds us that the road to success is rarely a straight line. It has U-turns, potholes, and traffic jams. But if you keep learning, adjusting and moving, the ride is worth it. Please give your expert comment in the comment box. If you have not subscribed, then please like, subscribe and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.